Let's get physical, it's Jordan here, back again with this week's episode and all the physical releases coming to the Switch June the 12th until the 14th. Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance is releasing this week. Kind of feels like there's not been much of a marketing push for this one, maybe because it's a multi-platform release this time and Nintendo don't fancy pushing it. This version includes the original game pretty much, along with an alternative route that goes in a completely different direction with different locations, characters, endings. Overall, 40 more demons have been added, some new to the series. I mean, no wonder the original on the Switch started to be dirt cheap not long ago. They probably needed to shift stock out of the warehouse before this came out. Now the question is, for those who have already spent 80 hours on the original release, is it worth it to spend 80 more to go halfway through the same game again before getting to the alternative route? I don't know the answer to that, but it will be interesting to hear what hardcore fans say. I know executive producers Precision Plague, Alexander Cato, Dane Wilkinson, Thorn Metal Luna, and JCross7776 have chosen this as their pick of the week. And if you want it or any of the retail releases in this episode, then please consider using the links in the description. You can purchase from VGP, a fantastic way to support me because they have good prices and cheap Canadian money, cheap shipping to the US, and even free worldwide shipping if you purchase anything over 80 Canadian bucks. They have lots of great stuff over there and are my preferred way to pick up retail releases. Plus, if you do buy something via our link, then each week you will be put into a draw with a chance of winning a $10 discount coupon. And this week's winner is Enzo F. Congratulations, Enzo. You should get an email from VGP if you haven't already with your discount coupon. Thank you so much for your support. Double Dragon Collection is releasing at retail in Europe this week. This was once an import exclusive release featuring some interesting beat 'em up titles if you like that sort of thing. The biggest games of interest are Double Dragon Advance and Super Double Dragon, which prior to this collection never saw a re-release. Not that they're anything to write home about. I'm sure your mum would think you'd been kidnapped and trying to give her a secret code if you started writing home about Double Dragon Advance in 2024. But you know, I like that old games are more available. North America is limited run, which I will get to in 2 ticks, and our executive producer, God of Resin, has chosen this as his pick of the week. Monster Hunter Stories Collection is releasing this week in another case of Capcom's bewildering Western team making strange decisions as though they've had a mild head injury. This includes the new release or the HD port Monster Hunter Stories 1 on the cartridge, but also includes Monster Hunter Stories 2 as a download code voucher, which means it's massively inflated the price for something that's valueless despite there already being a physical release of Monster Hunter Stories 2, which people can buy really cheap now. Who is the manager at Capcom in the West, and did they get a promotion from the catering team? It's absolute nonsense. So you're paying big dollars for something you probably already own and has more value than this piece of paper. All if you just want to get the first game physically. Not to worry though, because Capcom in Japan actually know what they're doing and have a standalone release of Monster Hunter Stories 1, which is much cheaper, and I'll get to in a second. But anyways, it's a shame that this is a confusing mess because these are both fantastic JRPGs. If you like Pokemon but like production value in your games, then these are excellent titles and very underrated. And our executive producer Feig has chosen this as their pick of the week. Might and Magic Clash of Heroes is releasing in Europe at retail this week. You may remember that Limited Run did this already and have recently started sending them out. Well, if you're in Europe, I hope you waited because I've heard this is a very nice game. It was a DS game and it had puzzle elements in it, supposed to be pretty good, like better than you would expect. I've talked about this before, so let's move on. Our executive producers, Robotech, and our brand new executive, Ishin, have chosen this as their pick of the week. My Life Farm Vet is releasing in Europe this week. It's basically the same as all the others, but instead of putting down family pets, you become the angel of death for horses and little piglets as they squeal their final breath. Lovely. Sleep tight, children. Alright, the low print releases, a triple helping of Limited Run. Turok 3 is probably their big one this week, remastered by Night Dive Studios, who might be my favourite modern developer right now. It's just a shame they have their tongue firmly up Limited Run's arse, bringing back classic games and doing an amazing above and beyond job. I think Turok 3 is the one I might be the least interested in, since it took the series in a direction I didn't much care for, but maybe I'm in the minority for that one. That means Limited Run have done 1, 2 and 3, which means I'm keeping my fingers crossed for a Japanese release with all 3 together. I think that's unlikely because I don't believe these were popular in Japan, but one can dream. You can pre-order various editions right now, and our executive producer, Punky Dooster, has chosen this as his pick of the week. Double Dragon Collection is up for pre-order at Limited Run Games right now. As I previously stated, this is a retail release in Europe this week. It'll probably be at retail in North America too, but Limited Run have the Collector's Edition, which has figurines, a keychain, and other stuff. And our executive producer, Instacritic, has chosen this as his pick of the week. Hatsune Miku Logic Paint S is perhaps one of their most left field choices. This has come out of nowhere, but I kind of appreciate it. It's Picross with Hatsune Miku. I mean, what else is there to say? Well, apart from, like, where's the 10-in-1 collection of Picross from Jupiter? Like, that would be a lifetime's worth of Picross content, and I need it. This, well, maybe I could do with this one. 350 puzzles, which is a fair whack, I suppose, and you can unlock songs by getting points. This looks kind of fun. Alright, we're heading into the imports Play Asia territory. If you want to import any of the games shown here, then please consider using the Play Asia links below. That's a fantastic way to support us also, and we can support you too, because if you click our link and buy something, you can also get 5% off with the code Jordan24. Monster Hunter Stories is the big one this week. I already mentioned before about Capcom's Western leaders being dumb. Well, in Japan, if you don't want to pay for overpriced, bloated releases with less tangible value than my dignity, then you will want to pick up this Japanese release of Monster Hunter Stories. It's just the first game by itself on the cartridge with English for a very affordable price. In fact, you can probably pick this up plus a cartridge of Monster Hunter Stories 2 together for cheaper than the Western release. So yeah, I think this is going to be an essential import in my mind because it's a great JRPG, a vastly underrated 3DS game. And our executive producers, Vei, Issa, and Brent McLean have chosen this as their pick of the week. Snufkin, Melody of Moominvalley, is releasing this week in Japan. It's an import exclusive for reasons unknown. I thought European publishers would have been positively slurping this up for a physical release over there, but nothing as of yet. This is a pretty lovely game for people of all ages, not necessarily a kid's game, but anyone can enjoy it. You're basically an anarchist who hates the cops and capitalism. Kind of weird, but hey, it's quirky and fun enough. This Japanese release does have English. There is a standard edition as well as a collector's edition, which, as always with Play Asia, sold out before release. They don't get many CEs. And our executive producer, Cartoon Soren, has chosen this as his pick of the week. He's from Scandinavia, so it kind of makes sense. MotoGP 24 is a surprising import exclusive because in the West, this is a code in a box bullshit. But as well as we all know, Japan are just genuinely heavenly beings by having this as a proper physical release. Not that anyone would care for this game, but at least from a collecting perspective, you gotta give them respect. It should have English according to the Japanese eShop. Zero to Dance Hero is releasing in Asian regions this week. This released in Japan already, but it did not have English. Well, they decided that non-Japanese speakers should also be able to dance like Snoop Dogg, and now we have an English version of it. If you are tired of dancing like a granddad at a wedding, well, this may be the game for you. Japan is also getting Construction Simulator 4, which we already have in the West, so don't think about that one. Alright, before we get into the community spotlight, I want to give a shout out to Play Asia, who have got a really nice deal going on right now. They have 3 games for $60, and this includes pre-order import exclusives like the Monster Hunter Stories game I just showed you. You can get it for like $20 if you get free shipping by doubling up. It's a really, really good deal in my opinion, and there are thousands of games eligible. check the links down below, or you can watch the video I made about it over on Physical Paradise if you want more info. I really think it's a good time to take advantage of it. Alright, the community spotlight. But before we get on to you, how about me, okay? I want to show off a game that was sent to me by my man in Japan, executive producer Vei, absolute legend, because this is an exciting release. You may not have seen this before because it's an import exclusive that slipped under the radar. It's called 100 Year Kingdom. It has English support, but since it's never been available on PlayAsia nor Amazon Japan, most of us foreigners did not know of its existence. Truly fascinating. It's a world builder simulator type thing with anime fox skills because, you know, Japan. I don't think it's going to be an essential game or anything, but if you are a collector, it's time to wake up and sniff this out. You might want to check eBay, that's my advice. Once again, thanks to my man in Japan, Vei, for sending this to me. I don't generally like receiving things from fans for, various reasons, but I felt this was an important discovery to show off to you guys if you're a hardcore collector. It's also worth noting, it's always worth noting, it is complete on cart. No update required. Speaking of updates, I told you before I would pick up the best priced version of Bloodstained Ritual of the Night to see if it was better than the base version. Now, sadly, I don't have the base version with me anymore, but the answer, to cut it short, is no. It is the same one as the North American release from way back when, version 1.03 on the cartridge. So yeah, it's just a repackaged cartridge of the old one. That's a disappointment, but I guess not unsurprising since the download update adds an extra 6 GB on top, probably making the cartridge too expensive for them. That's really disappointing, but of course, I think, we all thought that was going to happen. Alright, on to you lot. Ashura G sent in this photo picking up the earlier edition of Dave the Diver, which seems like it came with a bonus soundtrack CD. That's always nice. I wonder if the Western release will do that. Bridget F sent in this photo picking up 3 import exclusives, Livestream 2, Passepartout 2, and the Ace Angler game. I can't remember which one that is, but it looks like the newer one, which I haven't played, but I really want to. Bunny Bear sent in this photo picking up some great games. I don't know if I mentioned this recently, it feels like I did, but I make so many videos hard to remember. But those 2 Jedi Knight games, absolutely fantastic. I recently played them for my Star Wars retrospective, the part 3 of which is on my Patreon right now. I think they're great games, and it's nice to have them on the Switch. Executive producer Cartoon Soren sent in this photo, who was one of many to pick up Curse of Kudan. That's been quite a popular one, I'm not sure why. Maybe it's extra saucy, I can't remember, probably is. Distinguished Gentleman Gamer sent in this photo, living up to their name with this showcase of the Black Label edition of Victor Vran. It looks very nice, I'm just surprised they did it with this game. Feel like I should be getting like a high class watch or a bottle of whiskey with it. Executive producer Instacritic sent in this photo picking up every middle-aged woman's favorite breakfast biscuit, Rivita. That's taken a while to come out. Cresselak sent in this photo showing off 2 Tevis because he accidentally forgot he ordered 2. We've all been there before. I think I have 2 Direfield Chronicles in my collection. Pinky and Pella sent in this photo picking up the lovely Wargroove 1 and 2, which did indeed come with a pre-order soundtrack CD. So much better than Super Rares, unless you have a fetish for cheap plastic bags. Executive producer Precision Plague sent in this photo picking up 100 Year Kingdom. Word spread around quickly about it a couple of weeks back, so yeah, people have started hunting it down. Stouts sent in this photo from their trip to Japan, picking up the wonderful Metallic Child. I wish PlayAsia would restock it. I think more people would like to play this. Switchback sent in this photo, picking up a few limited run releases, including the much belated release of Komajo Remilia Scarlet Symphony. I kind of like that game, but also kind of didn't. Bit of a weird one. Executive producer Vei, my man in Japan, sent in this photo picking up last week's one and only import exclusive 7 Days, which is supposed to be a really nice visual novel, which I recently found out has plenty of camel toes in its CGs. I found that out by mistake when editing last week's video and rested on a frame which was muchly camel toe. Alright, let's have a roundup. Wankel Rotary Engine, McLaren, Xiao Pichu, Osgolo. Skip to the end. Don't. Mickey McFlynn. Dennis and Vicky. Kevin W. Robin H. Bill R. Andrew R. Shane L. Rebecca R. So many R's. Alright, please send me your pictures on Twitter. DM me. So what about game? If you can. I know some of you can't anymore. We have an email address, switchwatchspotlight@gmail.com. And our Discord. The server link is down below. Please submit your photos in the submissions section. Only send me one picture per week. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Let's Get Physical. If you watched all the way through, please leave me a dancing emoji in honor of Zero to Dance Hero. I want to see some funky dances. Alright, special thanks as always to our executive producers, Dane Wilkinson, God of Resin, Boombox, Brent McLean, Alexander Cato, JCross7776, Punky Dooster, Cartoon Soren, Robotech, Raven Knight, Fawn Metal Luna, Issa, Vey, Offphone, Instacritic, Precision Plague, Alex M, Feig, Josh Foot, and Ishin. Thank you so much for your support. Please go watch some of our other stuff. Go check out Physical Paradise. I have a lot of videos over there. I released a lot last week. Go check them out, okay? Have a good day. Take care.